Hey guys, today we're gonna look at Rambert and the guide that I got for you guys. So, for Rambert, this is the go-to build that most players have. This build, I personally use, and would recommend using in team games, such as Duo Touchdown Crown Guard, Team Deathmatch, All or Nothing, Battle Royale, and Team Touchdown. For Dominion, I don't use Rambert much. There's a different build for him here that I will show you guys. Usually, he's not really great against legends that do damage in a large area, such as Ravi or Rapunzel. So, you use the heal spell and the ability that adds 4 additional bombs, since you're going to want to drop bombs in the center of the Dominion point. Then you're going to use this ability that decreases the gauge charge required by 60% when you eliminate an opponent, so you can use more ultimates. Then here, Prudent Beam would be the best option here, but you have to be conscious of the cooldown, and not fight so the cooldown can reset. And if you're not good at that, and Lightning could be a good option too. But in the grand scheme of things, Aggression and Vanguard would also be very good options, but they would only really work at level 9 to make a useful impact. Then here, Unyielding is the obvious choice, but if you're good at hitting multiple enemies at the same time, Strike Barrier would be more useful in the long run. Then for here, it would be your preference between Victorious Ecstasy and Calm Mind. It all depends if you think you're going to be able to kill a lot of enemies, or if you're going to think you're going to take more damage. Then for here, since we're focusing on using our ultimate to cover a large area of damage with our bombs, we're going to want our ultimate to do a little more damage, and that's why we're going to use Moral Boost. So, you guys probably figured out the pattern here. We're going to reduce our damage after using our ultimate, since we're going to be in the middle of the battlefield, and would be unfortunate to die before we could use our ultimate. So, this is one version of the finished build, and like I said before, you can switch the barrier with Unyielding and Calm Mind with Victorious Ecstasy. So, this is the build for the team games. But one change I would make for Duo Deathmatch is switching Battering Ram with Prepared Hunter, because one tactic you can use is instead of ramming into the enemies, which is not a great idea for this legend unless you got a good teammate who can protect you. You want to stay in the back lines and wait till you get your ultimate and use your basic attack and skill during the whole match, and rarely use your ultimate. Now this is the build for duels. Most of the things here stay the same, apart from a few differences. Also, you guys might be wondering why I'm using Ignition instead of the most used spell, which is Turnover. And that's because Turnover's cooldown is, in my opinion, way too long for duels, for it to actually be useful. Since in duels, you can only use it twice. Turnover is basically a spell that if you make a mistake by letting someone get to close, it gives you a second chance. But if you're planning on being a good Rambert player, you're not going to consider making mistakes. You're going to make sure your timing is great, because that's basically the trick of being a good player with this legend is timing. Maybe Heal could be interesting, but I mainly use Ignition instead because it's well known that it's the most annoying spell in the game. Plus, I will show you a combo that you can use with Ignition. Anyway, so for the duel build, we're going to use Declare Pursuit, because Trophy Collector is not really interesting when you can only kill the opponent twice. It's more interesting when you get 6 kills when you're with Declare Pursuit. It's an immediate 25% increase in damage, and since Rambert has long range, you don't need to deal a close-up shot to activate it. So, here we're just gonna increase the basic attack, since that's his main gimmick and his most powerful move, and it's more useful, since we have it immediately. Where is in the team mode? We need everything to be increased, and it's on the long run, so it's more efficient. Take a Breath is also a very useful one, since it helps. In the long run, just increasing HP is really not useful. It really doesn't do much. But here in duels, we are going to decrease the damage over time instead of healing, since I found it not to be very useful, and decreasing damage I found it to be a little more useful in the long run. You have to take into consideration that duels are very short games, and Take a Breath is more useful in longer games like Team Touchdown. So now I will show you the Ignition combo with Rambert. So first, let's recap the basic combo, which is Skill Jump, Basic Attack. So now all you do is click the Ignition after the skill, and before you jump. You can also use this, so it pushes enemies further. Here is what it looks like. As you can see, he went super far. Anyways, Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this guide was helpful, and this combo as well.